Hello and welcome to the Fully Charged Show. Now, this is a bit unusual for us. We're not commonly found in a scrum of traditional press people hassling politicians for sound bites.
Roll cameras.
But on this occasion, we attended the press launch by the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, to announce a comprehensive electric vehicle infrastructure plan for London. The Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Taskforce was formed last year, and the press launch was to announce what was decided. Mayor Khan also unveiled the new London electric vehicle company urban delivery van. It's basically the same as the new London taxi underneath. It's a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with 80 miles of electric range. And also Zipcar were there with some of their fleet of e-Golfs, and there's another episode about Zipcar coming to Fully Charged soon. And all this happened on the day Mayor Khan was on the receiving end of some fairly unpleasant tweets from a certain American president. I didn't ask him about that, because everyone else did.
So Mayor Khan, for a start, thank you very much for finding time to talk to us. I've read through the sort of press release, and I think at last, this isn't like a token thing, we're going to put a charger outside a supermarket. It's a revolution.
Look, I'm glad you said so. This is an electric vehicle revolution. Why? Because we face not simply climate emergency, we face a health crisis. So this for me is important because we're addressing both issues head on. Yeah. We've got to make it easier for people to transition away from petrol and diesel vehicles, ideally to walk, cycle, use public transport. We've got to use a vehicle. Let's make it electric.
The complaint that I've had from, for instance, the taxi drivers that I've been in the new taxis, they all absolutely love the taxis. They're much easier to drive. They're much better. They save the money, and all they say is there's nowhere to charge them. You know, that's the thing. So you're putting in taxi-specific rapid chargers around the city.
What I did a year ago was bring together the best of the public sector and the best of a private sector to work on my electric vehicle infrastructure task force, because we need to make sure we address the issue of infrastructure. Yeah. We remove the barriers that exist, and so this delivery plan I've published today is a number of work streams, but the good news is this: we've now got a plan to have more rapid charging points. Right. We already have more rapid charging points than any major city in the world. Yeah, gone from 0 3 years ago to more than 218. But also make sure we've got a plan to have rapid charging hubs across our city, but also to make it easier to remove the obstacles, to make sure we've got more charging points. We currently have, roughly speaking, 2,400. We want to scale that up as well, right. But also make it easier to coordinate. So you, as somebody who wants to put in a charging point or rapid charging point, doesn't have obstacles put in your way. Let's remove those barriers. Yeah.
But I'm really pleased because I'm obsessed with electric buses. But you have already more electric buses than I thought. I didn't realise there were that many.
So when I became mayor, we were still buying, just makes sense, we were buying diesel double-decker buses.
Right. Like brand new diesel double-decker. Yeah.
And they have a life expectancy for 20 years. Yeah. So I've stopped buying double-decker diesel buses. We've now got more electric buses than any city in the world outside China. Right. And we're making sure we roll out more and more electric buses. We now have 75% of our buses are ultra-low emission zone compliant. Every bus in the ULEZ area is ultra-low emission zone compliant. We've seen, by the way, in those parts of London where I've got low emission bus zones, the cleanest buses, a massive improvement in the air quality. So right. There is a clear link between polluting buses and bad quality air. So we've got to make sure we make the transition easy from people using polluting vehicles to cleaner vehicles.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the other key thing that we're starting to harp on about more and more, which is walking in London. I really love it. I much prefer to walk somewhere in London if I can, than anything else. But that, to sort of push that idea, you can walk in London, you can cycle in London, get public transport in London. That if that becomes the standard sort of accepted, how do I get around London? The last choice should be a car, because it doesn't work. Cars don't work in London. It's really difficult. It's an old city, isn't it?
One of the things we've got to realise is that our population is growing. It's going one way. We're roughly speaking 9 million. When you include people coming into work every day, gets to 10 million plus. Yeah. Right? It's simply not sensible for us to have more people driving around our city. Yeah. So we've got to make it easy to walk, cycle and use public transport. So I've frozen TfL fares. Why? To make it cheaper to move around our city on public transport. We've got this new bus hopper. You can change buses as many times as you want within an hour and pay the one fare. But also, we're releasing data from TfL. So you've got an app now to make it easy to work out an attractive route to walk by, a safe route to cycle with. But also, we've now got car sharing companies committed to electric vehicles. And there's an incentive for the customer if they charge up their vehicle on a charging point. And what they're saying to me is these car sharing companies, yes, we agree with your agenda, Mayor. We want to have more electric vehicles. Help us with the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so this is a good example of a win-win. We're helping these car sharing companies by having more charging points, more rapid charging points, more charging points, and they're saying to us, well, look, we, as part of the quid pro quo, we'll have more and more electric vehicles. They're now signed up to having fully electric fleets by one company 2022, one company 2025. We're investing in healthy streets to make sure people rethink how they get about our city. Cheers. Thank you so much. Thanks for doing this. Cheers.
And that was it. Mayor Khan then went off to do another 30 interviews, mostly about President Trump. But that was all we had time for. Please do subscribe to Fully Charged. Have a look at the Patreon link beneath this video. There's other links about the London Electric Vehicle Initiative. And, well, as always, if you have been, thank you for watching.